Hello everyone and welcome back to your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Knowing Wheel returns, episode 305, and today we're here to discuss all of the goings-on from the British Grand Prix. Now, of course, as always, I'm joined by a man that is feeling very awake, very ready, and very, very prepared for the new week ahead of us. It's Jamie183. How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing excellently well. Spoilers for the football, but I'm sure by the time this is out, there's no way
people should have seen it.
Doesn't know by now. So currently it's 18 minutes past 8 in Monday morning, and 6 hours ago I was watching England smash up Mexico because we're the best team in the world. So yeah, I've had more alive mornings, but we're here to talk about F1, and then I've got to go and do 7.5 hours work today, so that's fantastic news.
So yeah, Jamie's running on very, very little sleep. He
I
genuinely,
did okay.
when I rang him this morning, he immediately started singing "Football's Coming Home." So yeah, he's gone down in my estimations a little bit.
It is. It's coming home, everyone. Get it on the calendars.
Not. I would be happy to see a win as. I mean, the next game's Saturday at like 10 p.m, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm at a wedding, while we're leaving before the end.
Yeah, I might watch the first half as well, see how we're getting on. But I mean, we basically got Norway, Argentina, and probably France now.
I reckon Colombia might give Argentina a game, in the other quarter. So
they should give them a game. Whether it's a very good one or not is a very good question.
So we'll see. I think we've got a good shot at getting to the final now. And I know I'm just English and saying stupid things, but yeah, apologies to our viewers if you are Mexican or Norwegian, but it's not going to happen for you. Obviously, we know that for Mexico now. So I don't think.
Does that mean the US are the only host nation that survived?
Yes.
Or are they out?
Yeah. No, they're still in till tonight probably.
Who are they playing tonight? Sorry.
Belgium, who are actually really bad as well. So. Fair
enough. Anyway, Jamie, let's talk about some Formula 1 then. Of course, we discussed obviously our preview, our build-up to the Grand Prix last week. So obviously we can jump straight in then with Friday afternoon. And I tell you what, I know we said it last week as well. Silverstone, it makes sense to have a sprint weekend, doesn't it? Simply for the sheer amount of fans they can cram in. And even normally when there's no sprint qualifying or anything, Silverstone is packed on Friday anyway.
Yeah, it totally is. And even on Thursday, it was packed, wasn't it? I remember you getting the ticket price.
As we found out, it's cost £70 to get in on Friday.
On Thursday, even.
On Thursday, with no on-track action.
Yeah. So I was actually there for the very first sprint race.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on Friday or Thursday.
No, I wasn't there on Friday. I actually drove past it around when the Grand Prix was on yesterday, on the way back.
I drove near it, well, fairly near it, on Friday evening as well, weirdly. I say fairly near it, I was probably about 30-40 miles away still.
Fair. In the grand scheme of the world, it's pretty close. So, I mean, 2021 was the first ever sprint race, and I was in the stands, and George Russell in the Williams got a massive cheer for getting his Q3 or sprint Q3 or whatever it was back then. And this one was good as well. They probably, I mean, we can have a bit of discussion at some point about sprint races, but quali needs something happening to it because it's just not that unpredictable, which makes it very predictable, obviously. What are you saying here is predictable because of sprint quali? Normal qualifying is more predictable. A little bit, but also I mean, qualifying generally is predictable at the moment because you've got 3 teams that are generally the slowest. Certainly 2 out of the 3 slowest teams are always out.
Yeah, it does seem to follow a format, doesn't it? Now,
like
Aston, Caddy, and normally Williams or Esteban Ocon will go out in Q1.
Yeah.
Then it's normally either obviously the other Williams, or the Hasses, the Audis and the Alpines.
Like,
and then
it was
it's just
the same.
Red Bull V-Carb and the other big 3.
It was exactly the same in both qualifying sessions this weekend as it has been for the last 3 races, where the top 10 on the grid was the top 8 from the big teams plus the 2 V-Carbs.
Yeah.
So,
which, to be fair play to V-Carb, because they clearly now at the moment, obviously we saw it with Haas really, Behrman at the start of the year, didn't we? Then it was kind of Alpine for a little while, and now it seems like V-Carb are kind of best of the rest.
Yeah, totally. And the problem is, the only bit of intrigue, really, when there's only points for the top 8 in a sprint race, the only intrigue comes in Q3, which is 45 minutes into the session, and a 9-minute Q3 session. They all waited for 6 minutes before heading out. So
yeah, Silverstone obviously again is one of those tracks where you can't even try to do 2 runs because obviously the tyres get obliterated.
Yeah, you can't change tyres in Q. So after your first run in each session, that's basically that. So it was an entertaining end, but obviously Lewis Hamilton, King of Silverstone, did very well to get a sprint pole in the Ferrari, which sent the crowd crazy on Friday night.
As he should. Yeah, and I didn't even get to watch it.
Oh, fantastic. I was actually listening to it on the radio. So, yeah, I love a bit of Radio 5 Live these days. So, yeah, it was... I just don't love sprint quali. I don't tend to watch it. I just tend to listen to Q3 if I can. So...
I do... Depending on the track, it's always quite... Like, for example, Shanghai is always really odd getting up on a Friday morning to watch sprint qualifying at like 7:30 before I start work. I still feel like, because we obviously know that Formula One's original plan with this was obviously to try and do something more with sprints. They obviously wanted to try and be a bit more crazy with it, and obviously all the teams just went no. Immediately. And if you try and do anything too crazy with it, we just won't take part or do it properly. So I understand it would be great though if we still, even for example, for like, could you even do, like, I know we've talked about this before, could you do sprint qualifying where you go out in reverse championship order, so it doesn't have a big, so everybody gets one run and it doesn't have a big enough effect on the rest of the weekend that obviously if it rains halfway through, Valtteri Bottas then maybe starts on pole. But even then, the pace spread is so much at the moment that you'd still feel like a lot of the big enough... Like, what was it? I think one of the caddies and one of the Aston Martin, it must have been Perez and Alonso, because obviously they crashed, didn't they, early on. They still got lapped in the sprint race. So even if an Antonelli started at the back, he'd still get past them in a sprint race, I would have thought.
I totally agree. I think that would be my preferred option. There's no way that teams will sign up to reverse grid at all, ever.
Yeah, it just won't happen. But if you do like reverse one-shot quali, so I guess actually you want to do it in proper championship order to give the backmarkers a slight advantage.
No, because you want the climax, don't you? So they would have to do it.
Yeah, I suppose.
And then it also
you're also
slightly,
like to get teams to agree. Yeah.
It slightly favours the big teams if you go last as well. So
yeah. So basically just run Friday sprint qualifying, everybody gets one lap, you all go out in order of where you are in the championship.
Exactly.
Sorry, from last to first.
From last to first,
so for at the moment, I think it would be like Hulkenberg would go first because he can't score points.
Yeah. Cheers. But that was sprint quali. Sprint race, I was actually go-karting during the sprint race. So I got to watch the start, and then I was busy winning my own race, which I didn't actually win.
I was going to say, did you actually win?
I came second out of 21, so I wasn't too disappointed with that.
So first of the losers.
But the guy who won was like a serious actual go-karter, so I was never beating him.
An actual go-karter. Jamie 183 there, look at that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, not
Crazy.
me. Not me. I was...
No, I know you're not. It's because you're also 5'3" and weigh like 30 kilos, don't you?
Maybe. I'm 5'8", thank you, but yes.
5 foot? Oh yeah, I forgot you are a very little man. That was one of the things when you came to my house that after you left, Leah did say to me, Jamie's smaller than I thought he would be. Yeah.
I'm 5'8" is the global average, actually, so...
Yeah, you see, but that also includes like
all
8-year-old girls in China.
Yeah. No. Global average for adult men is 5'8". There you go.
There you go, shocking. Well, she thought you were little.
Thank you. Thanks, Leah. Well done. Yeah, sprint race. It was all right, wasn't it? It was just classic 2026.
It was proper 2026 regs, wasn't it? There was a lot going on very early on, and then pretty much as soon as everybody worked it out, it then just completely calmed down, didn't it?
Yeah, and the only bit of intrigue really was the Antonelli closing on Hamilton slowly as the race went on. But then unfortunately...
Even that was only for about the first 8 laps.
Any intrigue was gone because Antonelli had battery when Hamilton didn't, and then it was done because you're going 60 miles an hour faster. So,
it was genuinely, I think, 42 kilometres an hour difference when 25 miles an hour. There's probably less speed difference between a Formula 1 and a Formula 2 car.
It's not skillful to drive past the arrival for the win when you've got 42 miles an hour of extra speed.
It's not skillful. Yeah, it's not skillful in that regard, but of course the battery management is where the skill is at, isn't it, still?
Yeah. But then that's way more about the car in terms of its own
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. I still don't love these regs, but I'm sure there's some tracks where it'll be fine.
Yeah, and obviously, again, it's this year, of course, is probably the worst for it. I do want to remain, I'm not going to say confident, but quietly optimistic that by the time we get through kind of 27 and 28, because, of course, the one big thing, on the other hand, we don't want to forget about is how well these cars actually are able to stick near each other.
That's true.
Because they're quite power limited. So I think if you get towards that 60-40 split, hopefully we'll still kind of get the best of what makes these regs good, but losing a lot of what makes them bad.
Yeah, and I mean it's a teething issue, isn't it? Really, so we will get there, I think. And yeah, but it's at the moment it's a shame just seeing races decided by who has power when. But tracks like Hungary, it'll be fine. Just Silverstone.
But tracks like Hungary, unless it rains, nothing's going to happen.
Tracks like Silverstone and Spa will not be fun for the viewing audience. Lewis Hamilton in real qualifying was flat out through from Brooklands and Luffield. He was flat until Vale.
Yep.
Which is mental. Like no braking between, like, for 45 seconds of a lap or something.
No, not that much. Not from Luffield. It's only about 25 seconds, if that, 20 seconds.
No, because he didn't brake through Max Beckett's Chapel. He didn't brake through Stowe or Copse. Like, that is crazy.
Right, he was derating. Sorry, for some reason I had in my head that Vale was the end of the S's.
No, Vale is the left-hander, the last corner.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like,
wow.
mad. And that's not a good thing. I'm not praising Lewis Hamilton for not braking. That's a problem of the regs, that you don't need to brake for Stowe with anymore.
Yeah, that's kind of insane, actually. Yeah, that's wild. I mean, again, it was always going to be kind of where these regs, again, we knew that Silverstone was going to be a bad track for them as well, didn't we? But apparently Mercedes as well have kind of re-brought back the trick they were using at the start of the year, but in a slightly different way now, that they're getting a little bit more power on the run to the line. Or they're using more power but then lifting out before they get to the line at a track like Silverstone, because obviously it's such a short run out of the final corner, that apparently, again, they're kind of breaking the spirit of the rules rather than the lesser of the rules.
They're almost like using some of next lap's energy.
Yes, yeah.
Because in qualifying it doesn't matter about the next lap.
Exactly.
They probably paused it while Adwo was a thing, and now Adwo has been taken, they can just go back to cheating again.
Exactly. But yeah, obviously it was Antonelli though that took pole in real qualifying ahead of both Ferraris. Again, though, I think the kind of prevailing sentiment, wasn't it, from Saturday afternoon was, as always, Mercedes just had a little bit more, wasn't it? I think even on Friday evening, it was kind of like, Hamilton's pipped Kimi there by just doing a better lap. It was only 11 thousandths of a second in it. So I think it was just a better lap by Lewis, but obviously Kimi was able to showcase it in the race. That didn't end up being the case, though, on Sunday afternoon, helped by the fact that Mercedes still looked to be the quicker car. They just got completely screwed over again, which at least made it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
But Ferrari went back to their old trick of just jump the Mercs early on and just pray they can stay ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, before the race started, we had the Lego race, which...
That was also funny.
Which was funny. Why on earth was Mohammed bin Sulayem in a Lego car?
He wasn't in a Lego car, though, was he? This is what I was going to say to you. How last minute do you think he decided he wanted to be on the grid? Because his was just a normal Silverstone go-kart.
Oh, was it? I actually didn't see... I wanted to watch the highlights. I know Fernando Alonso made sure he won the race.
Yes, yeah.
And you had Sainz catching a lift with Norris.
Yeah.
It did look fun. It was... When they announced it, I was kind of like, you've done this gag already. Find some new content. It won't be as good as the first time. But it actually was still funny, and all the drivers getting peached in the gravel was very funny.
Yes, yeah, it's one of those. I wouldn't want one every single weekend or anything like that, but it is a good, and it does feel like Silverstone generally is one of the better tracks. Again, even on like Thursday afternoon and stuff, where you get quite a lot of extra entertainment out of it, even on track, not just with like the concerts and stuff.
I got to go around the track on Thursday afternoon when I was there.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, is that still your last ever YouTube video on your channel?
I think it is. 5 years ago now? That's a bit crazy. But won a quiz on the stage in the fan zone, and
nerd.
Yeah, got a lap of a supercar supposedly, which was an Alpine A110S.
Yeah, which I mean they're not bad, but they're
not
also
bad. It was fun.
Definitely wasn't the quickest car.
But the other 5 cars there were like a McLaren 720S and a Mercedes and Aston Martin.
I'm trying to think. No, they have definitely got less power than my car. They're 55 grand! Good lord!
That's not a supercar, is it?
I was going to say 55 grand's a lot of money for what they are. I do like
Well, yeah,
them,
but it's not a McLaren 720S, is it?
No, it is not. No,
Yeah.
1.8 litre engine.
But
Fascinating.
I will stop complaining because it was still a very fun experience for free. So, and I got to meet Esteban Gutierrez, and who doesn't want that?
Exactly. What more could you ever want in this world than, I guess, apart from Checo, the last Mexican to race in Formula 1, I'm pretty certain.
Yeah, the only... No, not only.
No, I was going to say definitely not. Anyway, Jamie, let's get back into the Grand Prix.
Yes.
Both Ferraris jumped, obviously, Kimi off the start. There was a bit of chaos a little bit further back as well. Well, Hamilton got a 5-second penalty pre-race, because although he didn't actually move at the start, he'd moved before the start had actually started.
Was it before the...
Yeah, that's why he only got a 5
box.
second, not a 10-second penalty. It was early enough that it wasn't like he was trying to jump the start. It was that he rolled slightly earlier, hence why he got a 5-second penalty instead of a 10. So that immediately meant he was on the back foot. Piastri and Lawson, I still don't believe I've seen this footage. I have no idea what happened between them. But Piastri had the wing hanging off.
Front wing.
Yeah, we still have no idea what happened there. But we did get to see Albon just decide he wanted to crash into Ollie Behrman for fun.
Yeah, Albon's not having a great season so far, is he?
Neither Williams is.
But Sainz has done considerably better than Albon, I think. And
has he? They've been fairly
feels
even,
like
I feel like.
I'm going to get the quali head-to-head up one sec.
Yeah, well, the quali head-to-head doesn't tell the whole story, but I feel like both of them just kind of joined in harmony and just being unhappy with Williams right now. Yeah. And they both kind of know unless the other stays, they're both stuck there. Because one of them looks fairly likely to be gone this year.
The Williams quali head-to-head currently is 10-1 to Sainz.
Wow. Okay, yeah, Albon's getting absolutely... Albon's going on fraud watch.
Average ahead by 0.345.
Wow,
so,
okay.
Yeah,
Albon's in trouble. Yeah, really not having a fun time with things. But again, this is what Sainz is so good at, isn't it? Kind of that unknown, those new regs, everything like that.
And he's
Sainz
very
is
consistent.
just so adaptable. Yeah. He's never quite the quickest, but he's just super adaptable. Which is a very important skill to have in F1. I'm not trying to take that away from him.
It is. And the race... I thought the race settled down a lot, actually.
It settled down quicker than the sprint did, didn't it? But I think, again, that's one of the problems with the sprints, of course, is that it basically just gives teams basically the first third of an extra race to learn everything against each other as well.
Yeah, because as you say, you have more like sandbox time in a practice session, but in a practice session you don't go toe to toe with the rest of the grid.
It's pretty much, isn't it? You get more time to learn your own car in practice, but a sprint race gives you more time to learn everybody else's, it feels like.
Yeah, and the battery management, especially at the start, was not as chaotic in the GP as it was in the sprints. So it settled into a Ferrari 1-2 for a while. Leclerc from Hamilton, which was surprising to say that based on Leclerc's form recently as well.
Yeah.
Antonio was third. You had Verstappen, Russell, and the two McLarens. Well, one McLaren and Norris, wasn't it? And in the next bit of section of the pack, and to be honest, the first thing I was listening and it wasn't great, and I was like, oh, has these regs absolutely destroyed Silverstone as a track? Because the last 4 years have been incredible, and then the first third of the race this time was not great.
Silverstone did go on a generational run, though, didn't it?
It
was one of the only tracks during the high downforce era as well that still just delivered banger after banger, which makes no sense either, because especially in the high reg era, you've just never been able to get anywhere near anybody in front of you. But Silverstone just cooks. Yeah,
Slipstream goes hard when you've got 70% a lap on full throttle.
It certainly does. I mean, this was the thing, though. Of course, early on, it was everybody. Again, I think there was a little bit of uncertainty about how obviously well the tyres would go, because this is the other big thing with Silverstone, because the pit lane takes so long. You don't really want to have to try and risk a 2-stop, ideally. It did look like Max might have been trying to risk a 2-stop. We never quite knew what exactly his plan was going to be. Obviously, he had that VSC not come out later on for Hulkenberg. But obviously, yeah, it was very much just kind of... Everybody was trying to take the mediums as far as they could to work out how far they need to take the hards. Obviously, Kimi got back past Lewis. Obviously, Lewis then lost a spot to George, serving his penalty in the pit lane. George and Max obviously had some quite entertaining battles as well, and then obviously Russell obviously had that slow puncture, so he then tried to shove Max off the road. More hilariously, I don't know whether Max knew that George was going to be pitting, but I got no idea where he was planning on putting George if he didn't dive into the pit lane immediately, because he was not giving him anything.
If Russell wasn't pitting that lap, he would have been on the grass very quick.
He would have been pitting that lap if he hadn't intended to.
It was pit or you're in the gravel, mate. So, yeah, I feel like Max must have known, because it was a lap before they told George they had a slow puncture, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But if not, that's quite amusing at your home race just to get shoved into the pit lane. Yeah, it was a good little battle, actually, that between Hamilton, Russell and Verstappen. Obviously, I think the car discrepancy between those three was not insignificant, I'll put it that way. But it was
say there
good
was
fun.
Much of a difference in it. Because again, it was George and Lewis took a lot more out of each other. They kind of kept Max in front for a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, Lewis was only behind him because of his penalty anyway to begin with. So
yeah,
it was.
But he
and
and George
fun.
had a good battle. That was very
they
entertaining. Go around the outside at cops and things like that was great to see. Lewis obviously still with a bit of fire underneath him.
The Verstappen-Hamilton battle was short-lived but fun as well, a bit like Austria. So, yeah, the race did liven up, and that was certainly the battle for third at that point between those three was like the start of the fun, and then the fun just kept on kind of coming, because almost at the same time, Kimi Antonelli was closing on Charles Leclerc for the win, and then suddenly Lance Stroll was unlapping himself against Kimi Antonelli, and we're like, what's happening here?
Crazy scenes. Lance Stroll has finally decided he's going to win this title right now.
Yeah, from a lap down at Silverstone on lap 35.
Yeah.
But no, Antonelli had an issue, and he drove over a curb at Copse, and something fell off. The front wing part fell, didn't it?
No, brake shield.
Rather than channeling air where it should be, it was basically perpendicular to the air and causing all kinds of instability. So, if you can imagine,
it was rubbing
like
on the suspension as well, apparently.
If you've
That's
got
why it was causing so much understeer.
Can you imagine you've got like your hand out of your car window going quite fast, and you've got your hand, like I'm showing the camera like that to the wind. That will go through really smoothly. If you turn your hand palm outwards, you're going to suddenly have all kinds of problems trying to keep your hand in a straight line. So, yeah.
But instead of your hand, it's a really fat person.
And you're going like 180 miles an hour rather than 40. So imagine your hand would get taken off if you tried it at that speed. But yeah, it was a shame, I thought, for the race, because Charles Leclerc and Kimi Antonelli were miles clear of everyone else. And it was looking like we were going to get a bit of a battle for the win. And
Kimi was going to go past him.
I agree.
Quite easily. He was going like 2 seconds a lap faster.
I think I agree with you. But it definitely was unpredictable and spiced the end of the race up quite a lot. But yeah, unfortunate for Antonelli. And it was even more unfortunate that in his struggles of keeping the car on the road, he got a 5-second penalty for not keeping the car on the road, which I thought was a bit harsh, to be honest.
I don't know. I think the problem, it is harsh, but it also is kind of, again, we spent so many years moaning about how track limits were so kind of ambiguous and unknown. You can't now suddenly start backtracking on the rule is you stick between the white lines. If you don't stay between the white lines, unless someone else barges you out, then it's your own problem, kind of thing. Kimi made that choice to continue trying to drive at maximum attack. And whether he lost time or not, it was still his own doing.
Yeah, I think...
I understand his argument that he lost time, but ultimately that was his choice to still drive too quickly.
Back in the day when I league raced, if you went off but you lifted off the track or made sure you lost a bit of time off the track, you didn't get a penalty for it.
Exactly.
And I think that's probably... Obviously, if you don't lose time, so if you just maintain time, I think that should still be a warning, a black and white flag, if it's your fourth warning. But if you go off, lift, lose half a second, I think you should be fine. And I think that's what Kimi Antonelli was obviously not gaining time.
It gets far too complicated and manipulated again. I as much as kind of these new... Well, they're not even new anymore. As much as kind of the proper track limit rules were a bit weird early on and obviously occasionally frustrating when they invalidate a good quality lap and things like that, it's so much easier and more consistent. And it's one of the few things in Formula 1 that does remain consistent now, for the most part.
True.
You go outside the white line, Your lap time's
you
gone.
get a warning.
Keep it as it is.
Fair enough. But yeah, that handed Charles Leclerc a win by 20 seconds. It looked like at that point, Lewis Hamilton was second, wasn't it, for a Ferrari 1-2?
He certainly was.
Verstappen had pit under that VSC for Hulkenberg just not being able to finish a race that saved his life at the moment. And then Max Verstappen was running third. A very solid afternoon for him in probably the third fastest car, maybe fourth fastest car.
It was quicker than the McLaren this weekend.
Possibly. I think it was close.
It was.
Hadjar
the
was
McLaren
Norris,
was
wasn't
nowhere. Yeah, but that's because Hadjar got screwed over. He'd had about 30 seconds worth of pit stops.
That's true, actually. He did have to pit on lap 1, didn't he? With the broken front wing. So.
No, it was Piastri.
No, Hadjar had a broken front wing at some point, I'm sure. They replaced his front wing
they pit him later on, they did replace his front wing, but he had like 2 over 10-second pit stops.
Yeah, fair. Maybe the McLaren was fourth fastest then. But regardless, Max's car was not fastest around Stowe because apparently they had a car issue.
It wasn't.
I will remain on the fence and say I don't know whether it is a car issue or not.
I hate it because again, I'm annoyed by this because I mean Jamie's our resident Max fan. I've never hidden it. I'm not anyway. But they literally in Austria last weekend, they said to him after his first run, "You're losing time with the penultimate corner." He tries to send it into the penultimate corner. He crashes. You go, fair enough. End of qualifying. He's made a mistake. It happens. Like nobody really cares. There's no one going, "Oh, we deliberately did a Schumacher at Monaco" or anything like that. And then immediately, Max's basically closest friend in the media pen, who even Jos Verstappen likes, which tells you immediately probably how coerced and corrupt he is, just goes, "Oh no, it was a car issue. The team have told me it's a car issue." And you're kind of going, well, the wing closed. It looked absolutely fine. It looked like he got on the outside curb, connected on the inside curb, and just looped it. Nope. Red Bull have said it's a car issue. It's definitely a car issue. Max Verstappen can do no wrong. This weekend, coming towards the end of the Grand Prix, he's pushing to try and close down the gap on Hamilton. We know what Max is like with Lewis anyway. Red Mist descended. He's trying to close everything he can to beat Lewis in the Grand Prix. I don't know, not necessarily in that moment, but he knows he wants to try and beat Lewis at his home race.
I think he was more focused on Russell behind, to be honest.
He bins it again, and immediately they're going, "Oh no, Red Bull confirmed it's definitely the same car issue again." You go, "No, he's just made a mistake. There's nothing wrong with that. He's not in the fight for the world title this year. He's not happy with the team anyway. He's made an error." I would honestly put money on there's got to be something in Max's contract that if anything can even be argued that was a mistake, it has to be told as a mistake. As a car issue even, rather than a mistake.
I do disagree.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I do disagree.
He made 2 errors in the last couple of weekends. He's not happy at the moment. It just happens. No one cares that he made the mistake, except for the fact that they've then gone, "No, it's definitely a car issue instead." And if it was the Macarena ring, the FIA wouldn't allow them to run it if it's not closing quick enough. They wouldn't be allowed to use it.
Well, it's quick enough for the rules, isn't it? It
wouldn't be if that's causing those issues.
No, I think the issue is, though, it intermittently doesn't close properly. Most of the time, it's fine.
Therefore, it can't be run. If it's caused 2 massive accidents, or 1 massive accident and this one as well, which was only say, but if you went, I'm trying to think of a Jeddah, for example. If he went there and that rear wing isn't going to shut, and he does this like a Mick Schumacher or something at 200 miles an hour, you can't run that wing if it's clearly causing issues. Either admit Max made the mistake or get rid of the wing.
This is kind of why I think I back Verstappen on this, because immediately, almost before he was in the gravel trap, he was already complaining about the car on the radio. And I know it's Max.
Before.
I know that it's
was
like
radio delay.
But not like it was immediate that he was like, "F this car," basically. And I just think, even if it's not this mechanical issue, the car is clearly massively unstable, and he doesn't like driving.
But that was what he was praised for constantly with last regs. If that's how he likes to drive the car, drive it. This is what I hate. You can't moan. You can't go, "Oh, Max is the greatest driver to ever live. He can handle this car." And, if he's in a tractor with 2 wheels, he'd still win races. Suddenly now he's actually in a tractor with 2 wheels. He's still got the car set up really loose on the back end. Hadjar was as quick as him this weekend, and yet then
wasn't.
suddenly, the car's terrible. You told me last year he could win a wheelie bin, just either pick one lane or the other. I get so annoyed by it.
I kind of think when a Formula 1 team and a driver, has clearly explained an issue they're facing, and can actually back it up, because it was a very similar style crash both times. I just think
it wasn't a similar style crash both times.
It's
First time round he got up on the
theorists
inside curve. Second time round he dropped the back end and overcorrected.
I think it's unfair to assume the worst, because
What, that Max dare makes 2 mistakes in a car that he's not happy with anyway?
It could well have been, but I think there is a bit of truth in this wing thing. We'll see if it happens again. If I bet here's a deal, they will, in the presser next week or in 2 weeks' time, they'll ask Max, have you fixed the rear wing? He might say, we've tried. Well, yes, we have. If he then crashes again in the same way, I'll be like, fair enough, it was probably mistakes. I think the Austria one was probably a driver error. I think the Silverstone one is more on the fence.
But you watch the way that car, he's tipped it in too aggressively and doesn't have enough on the rear end.
But
because that's how he sets up the car.
The wing was kind of getting worse and worse. It was happening laps before. He was like, this is getting worse. And then it got worse and he crashed. So I'm glad it's not a season that's going to matter, because that would be really annoying. But he still drove very well.
Hang on a minute, you said the same about Barcelona last year.
I did. And he's actually only about the same number of points back from the championship lead as he was last year at this point. So, yeah, I would like to think the best of our 4-time world champion friend. And
this is the thing I think annoys me the most with it is, again, Max Verstappen has more than proven how good. Again, I'm obviously not a big fan of the guy. Happy to admit that. I also have never once argued that he's not an incredible racing driver. He is still one of the fastest people on the planet. I've never once argued against that. The thing that annoys me is the idea that even when he does clearly make an error, that he is so overly protected by people around him that you kind of almost... And I think this was a bigger issue a few years ago of almost his God complex. Of if everybody around you is telling you can't do no wrong, you are going to do more stupid things.
I'm reading on the race that Red Bull have said they might get rid of the rear wing for Spa.
If they get rid of the rear wing, then I will happily take it back. But at the moment, I think it's Max has made 2 issues, and the team have got, no, we'll blame something else.
Interesting, because Laurent Mekies, who obviously does have a vested interest in making Verstappen look better than he is, said, look, he's right not to be happy. It's very unpleasant for drivers to be let down by the car in high-speed corners in 2 consecutive races. And it is, in a much lower scale, also extremely unpleasant for us as a group to send the drivers to a gravel trap. I have no doubt that the team will put in what is necessary for that not to happen again, even if we fail to do that today. So,
has Hadjar had this issue at any point?
Don't know.
Don't think so.
He hasn't crashed as a result, has he? He probably just doesn't.
I was going to say, I know he's been in Miami, but obviously that certainly wasn't in straight line mode.
I can't remember.
Has he retired anywhere else? No, because he's done quite well in the last few Grand Prix, hasn't he?
Well, you say quite well. He's always been the tail end of the top 8, but that's kind of where he should be. He's
had
doing fine.
Like 3 top 6s, top 5 top 6s in a row.
Has he?
He's doing alright more recently. He should have had a podium in Monaco.
Should have done. Yeah, he's had 5 top 5s. No, 5 top 6s in a row, sorry.
There you go. And in the 3rd best car, he's finished exactly where it should be.
Yeah. Which is behind.
Because Sydney always gets screwed over on pit stops. And the funniest bit still is always how much the V cars just let Max by. Like, if it's through pit cycle and things like that. And Hadjar, they will defend like it's the most important thing on earth every weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, how on earth Lawson got away with that block on Saturday?
Oh, it was bad, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, Hadjar did that to Leclerc in Canada, didn't he? So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
we haven't even talked about the most controversial part of the weekend.
Yes. Yeah, we will. Because it's lap 51 of the race. Just starting lap 51 on the Hamilton Straight. And the infamous lapped cars may now overtake message appears on the screen as race leader Charles Leclerc starts his final lap of the race.
Penultimate lap.
Oh yeah, sorry, penultimate lap of the race. So all the lap cars go through, and then we get into the rest of the race, the rest of the lap. Sorry, coming out of onto the hangar straight out of Chapel, and the software says the safety car in this lap, but all down the hangar straight and through Stowe, the safety car lights don't go off. The safety car doesn't create a gap to Charles Leclerc, and the safety car does not pit at the end of the lap. And we get a big anticlimax because I think as a result of Abu Dhabi 2021, which we'll not go into now, they've probably put in some hardware fail-safes to be like, if we have clicked the lapped cars may overtake button on the final lap, or on any lap that is, the button to pull the safety car in won't work on the same lap.
You say a hardware fail-safe from Abu Dhabi. That was exactly this. People have gone, oh, they implemented this rule because of Abu Dhabi 21. It was already a rule before Abu Dhabi 21.
That was the issue. It already
they haven't changed anything because of Abu Dhabi 21.
I think the fail-safes are around. They wouldn't have had an implementation of the rule, if you get what I mean. So they had never had to think about the consequences of this rule until Abu Dhabi 21. And then when that all happened, there's now some things in place to prevent it happening again. That's what I think. And
either
I can see it coming because the lights didn't go off. Down the hangar straight, I was like, there's no way this safety car's in.
Yeah.
But it was quite a shame because a bunch of cars pitted for softs.
It was such an anticlimax. Yeah.
And it would have been a great final lap.
Yeah, what we learnt once again is obviously even now when they do follow safety car procedure, obviously any way they can screw over Lewis Hamilton. Because, of course, George Russell didn't really pit. With one lap, he was definitely going to get back past. But Lewis was definitely going to get back past him.
But he wasn't going to win. He wouldn't have had Leclerc.
Leclerc would have bottled it. Come on. You can see Leclerc going straight off at turn 3 in that scenario.
I don't think so. With a car and mediums in between, I think Leclerc would have been fine. But
this is Charles Leclerc, though, Jamie.
It would have been very entertaining. It was a bit of a shame.
We deserve that one lap.
Also, why did Lewis Hamilton not get penalised for ignoring yellow flags? Is it just because it's at Silverstone?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
no, I haven't actually seen the onboard or anything from that. I don't know exactly because there was some confusion, wasn't it? Because Sainz got a 1-lap penalty as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
which I've never seen before.
He did it's because he
jumped him too early.
Yeah, that's because he went through the pit lane. So you know how on the old F1 game where you could win the race.
You can still do that now. It still works. That's why the pit lane speed limit on the game is 37 when I think IRL is 50.
So he basically went through the pit lane and overtook a bunch of cars on the timing bracket.
Why didn't Lewis do that on the last lap?
Because he would have got a 1-lap penalty, clearly.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know why Hamilton didn't get a penalty, because when he's under investigation for a yellow flag speeding infringement, that basically is a slam dunk usually. But I guess they didn't want to take his Silverstone podium away. So,
16 podiums at Silverstone is nuts.
It is. He's driven the fastest car for almost all of those races, but
no, he hasn't. He's had the fastest car for probably 7 or 8 of them.
07, 08, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Didn't he get screwed over in 2013?
He did. His tyre blew up.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Rosberg won though, so it was the fastest car.
Well, that was only because Seb had a gearbox failure, didn't he? Or
True.
Something.
Alternator.
So, yeah, there you go. So it was the Red Bull that was quickest anyway.
Maybe.
But
anyway, I digress.
The good news was Charles Leclerc now has won British Grand Prix, because as we know, Leclerc can only ever win anywhere once unless it's Monza. So congratulations to him.
No more British Grand Prix wins ever.
No, exactly.
He's equalled Oscar Piastri and Mark Webber for race wins.
Yep, for race wins again. So great to see him there tying it up with the Australians. Although of course, as always though, he should actually still be one behind Oscar, because Oscar should have won this race last year.
Yeah. But in the same way, I'm sure you can make a case for Leclerc winning some more races here and there, probably.
Yeah, Austria 2019.
Yeah, Bahrain 19, Baku 24. Yeah.
Well, that was just the car rather than anything controversial. But
yeah,
still.
True.
Anyway, Leclerc got the victory. Russell did hang on for P2 ahead of Hamilton and Norris. Hadjar, again, P5, another good result.
Well done, you came last out of all the big teams again.
Well, no, he beat Oscar and Kimi.
And Max.
Beat his teammate. What more could you want? Anyway, Lawson and Lindblad. So Max was the only Red Bull back car that didn't score this weekend. I think, we're talking about getting Solov in. I think it's time Max goes. Actually, you probably will. Bortoletto, Colapinto, and Gasly all in the points, Jamie. It was a good race.
It was a fun race. Second half especially was entertaining. Not the greatest Silverstone race ever, but there we go. I think that's quite a high bar.
It's a pretty high bar, yeah, I was going to say.
Drive of the day? I think I might bin the quiz off because I need to go to work. So, unfortunate.
Okay. Leclerc for me. Controlled it, did everything he needed to. Yeah, maybe got a bit lucky that Kimi obviously was going to have him and then had issues, but on the other hand, he was 20 seconds clear of Lewis at his home race.
He put 20 seconds on Lewis at Hamilton's best track, and it's not even a particularly good Leclerc track. It's a fine Leclerc track, I think. But
yeah, Leclerc's often gone well as well around here.
I will also give it to Charles Leclerc because the other drivers on the podium just got a bit lucky, to be honest.
I think Hamilton was still on for a podium.
He was. But again,
how on earth Russell with a slow puncture beat out both Lewis and Kimi is insane.
Yeah, by not pitting, and it turns out that was the best strategy. So
wild. Race rating?
It was a bit better than Austria, wasn't it?
It was definitely better than Austria.
I gave Austria a 7, so did you. I will give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I think a 7.5 is fair. And last but not least then, Jamie, predictions recap. I think you've actually done fairly well this week.
I don't know. I don't know. The scores were 34-20 before this, so that's not good. The predictions recap. Sprint race, obviously. I said Kimi Antonelli would win the sprint. Good start.
2 points.
2 points. George Russell on pole position. No points. George Russell winning the race, which is a point. Not bad. Kimi Antonelli in second. Didn't happen. 14th. And Lewis Hamilton in third. So 2 points for that. Which
5 points.
That's the only good thing about Hamilton not getting yellow flag infringement.
Yeah.
You said...
That's probably your best score of the year. Let's just get that out there.
It might well be. You said George Russell would win the sprint race. Didn't happen.
0.
Kimi Antonelli on pole. Did happen.
2.
Kimi Antonelli race win. Didn't happen. 14th.
Didn't happen.
Lewis Hamilton in second. Got a point for you. Well done. And then the random Oscar Piastri shout. What's going on with Oscar at the moment? He's just not. He's not really doing it.
Well, we still haven't seen what happened to him in the Grand Prix.
It's true.
But yeah, he definitely has had a bit of a downturn.
So that's 5-3, which the gap's
you took
coming
2 points
down.
out of me. It's on
Keep doing
for
that,
Jamie.
and you never know.
Yeah, get to Singapore and you might have caught me up.
Well, who knows? Probably not. But yeah, that was the Silverstone Grand Prix.
It was the British Grand Prix. Of course, we've got a break week this weekend, don't we? Before we're out of Belgium next time round as well. Which is Belgium or is it? So
it is Belgium next.
Yeah, Belgium. No, I was actually going to say we've got Belgium and Hungary. Hungary will be the last Grand Prix where I'm not a married man, which is wild to think about as well. So who would have thought I would have been the first one on this podcast married?
I reckon everyone.
Unless there's something you're not telling us.
Well, I'm not getting married yet. So
fair enough. Thank you all, as always, though, so much for listening. Let us know your thoughts and feelings on the British Grand Prix down in the comments below. And I guess we'll be back next week, Jay. We might do something later on. We might do something in the middle. We haven't quite decided yet. But we'll be back very soon with more Knowing Wheel.